I gotta say, I'm impressed with this guy. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's exactly the champ SmackDown needs to compete with Raw.
And we'll be seeing him in action tonight in a non-title match with Hardcore Holly. I don't know what JBL's playing at, sucking up to the World Heavyweight Champion the way he has, but I don't buy this new Mr. Nice Guy act for a second. I seem to remember how JBL abused his power almost every week that he was the champion here on SmackDown.
Jeez, Cole, can you be a little bit more cynical? Lighten up, buddy. People change, you know? I mean, look at you. Sometimes you like to put a little frost in your hair. Sometimes you like to grow a little beard. You're a little freaky. You're a weirdo. Doesn't do anything for you, though.
Regardless, I'm not saying that people can't change. I'm just saying JBL's got a lot of convincing to do before I buy it. I hope the champ isn't making a big mistake here, teaming up with JBL like this.
Only you could figure that teaming up with the longest-running WWE champion of the last decade would be a mistake.
We'll see. I guess it all depends on how badly JBL wants another run with the world title, Taz. Well, I can't say I'm the greatest supporter of Mr. Kennedy Fair is Fair, so I'm glad to see that he seems to have recovered from JBL's unprovoked assault last week.
Unprovoked? Unprovoked, Cole. He was walking up behind JBL's partner. That is a no-no in that ring, especially after a competitive match like the one they had last week.
Regardless of whether JBL's attack on Kennedy last week was warranted, you have to admit that the champ wouldn't be caught up in this grudge match tonight if it wasn't for his partner's actions last week.
So what's the big deal, miss? He's the champ. He's a fighting champ. The champ's got to compete in matches now and then. And it's not like this is a title match, so what's the big deal?
I'm going to predict that this man is going to find out tonight why JBL is not to be trusted. JBL clearly had a title shot as his ulterior motive all along, and I just can't buy him at face value.
What is wrong with you, Cole? A hottie like Melina is making her way down here, and all you can think about is JBL's face? Okay, buddy.
Nothing against Melina, but this is about JBL's long history as a bully and a cheat. I have a hard time believing JBL would just turn over a new leaf overnight. Mark my words, Taz, you're going to see JBL do something, either in this match or after it, to give himself an advantage this Sunday at No Mercy.
You're paranoid, Cole. I know you think JBL's been a jerk in the past, but he really seems like he's been trying to change.
Well, JBL might have you and the champ fooled, but I'm simply not convinced. Okay, I'll admit it, I was expecting JBL to drop the nice guy act and turn on the champ tonight, but there's still a few days before No Mercy, and I wouldn't put anything past a man like John Bradshaw Layfield.
I'll give JBL credit for trying to stick to the straight and narrow, and I think the fans do too.
You know, Taz, I never would have guessed that JBL could make it all the way to No Mercy without showing his true colors, but with the World Heavyweight Championship within reach, you have to wonder if the temptation to rely on his former methods might be too great to resist.
Cole, will you please drop it? Seriously, you've been harping on JBL for weeks now, and he ain't done jack to deserve it. You're supposed to be unbiased, right? So be unbiased, because you're uncool.
You're thinking of the referee, Taz. Maybe everyone else on SmackDown has a short-term memory, but I remember the old JBL. I just hope that by the end of the match tonight, nobody else will have a reason to. And here comes the World Heavyweight Champion. For his sake, I hope he hasn't been completely suckered in by JBL's nice guy act.
Whether it's an act or not, no champion goes into the ring expecting his opponent ain't gonna take every advantage, Cole. Once that bell rings, may the best man win.
And you know as well as I, Taz, that taking advantage is something JBL used to do better than anyone. And mark my words, if we're going to see the other shoe drop, it's going to be right here tonight. Well, I have to give the man credit. JBL is our new champion, and he won the title here at No Mercy fair and square. I never thought I'd see the day.
That's what I've been telling you all along, Cole. This is not the old JBL you're used to dealing with.
You know, I think I have to agree with you, Taz, and not for nothing. I think that JBL's next title reign might be very different from his first one. I've got to tell you, Taz, I feel betrayed by JBL. I honestly thought he had reformed himself.
I've always told you you're kind of naive, Cole. Besides, imagine how the champ must feel. JBL suckered him just as bad as the rest of us. And now, JBL's gunning for the World Heavyweight title.
This might be a non-title match, Taz, but you can bet it doesn't change the fact that there are some strong emotions between these two competitors, given the betrayal of John Bradshaw Layfield.
You're absolutely right, Cole. some of the most brutal matches in the history of the business haven't had a title on the line. And I get the feeling that's what we're in for here tonight.
What a brutal match. Could this be a preview of things to come at Survivor Series?
I can't believe either of these guys are going to be able to go again this Sunday. But with the World Heavyweight title on the line, I'm sure they're going to find a way.
It's a shame to admit it, but I guess we should have known that a decent JBL was too good to be true.
JBL might not be a saint, but he just proved one thing for sure. He's smart, he's resourceful, and let's face it, he's a better actor than anyone gave him credit for.
I have to agree with you, partner, and as much as I can't condone his methods, I have to give him credit for effectively putting himself into the Smackdown main event here at Survivor Series. The champion certainly has his work cut out for him tonight, Taz. I can't imagine what it will take to keep JBL down for a count of 10 to win this last man standing title match.
It's not going to get any easier either, Cole, I'm telling you. But nothing's easy when you're the champ. He's just got to go in there and stick with the skills that won him that title.
And I'd add that he's going to be hard-pressed to stay focused. Yes, the World Heavyweight title is at stake, but this rivalry has gone beyond personal in recent weeks. It'll be all the champion can do to concentrate on the task at hand in this potentially brutal matchup. No, I don't believe it. After all his deceit, don't tell me that JBL just won the World Heavyweight title here at Survivor Series.
All right, I won't. But that don't mean it's not true. Face it, Cole, JBL's scheming and mind games paid off.
It's over. It's finally over. The champion has successfully defended his World Heavyweight title in one of the most brutal last man standing matches I think we've ever witnessed.
That was off the hook for sure. I can't believe either one of them is standing after that.
Nonetheless, I can't help but feel as if some wrongs were righted here tonight. JBL has finally been put in his place and the champion has retained his title here at Survivor Series.
And if this match was any indication, it's going to take a man tougher than JBL to take it away from him. And that's saying something.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Smackdown. Along with Tazz, I'm Michael Cole, and partner, we're just weeks away from the Thanksgiving Tradition Survivor Series. And here comes the man who thinks that he should be the #1 contender for Chris Benoit's World Heavyweight title at Survivor Series, Johnny Nitro.
And hey, why not? The guy's no stranger to gold. Tag team gold, at least. He's young, and he's hungry, and he's got something to prove here tonight in this match.
And now here comes the #1 contender fans are clamoring for, Taz. There's no question why SmackDown General Manager Theodore Long named this man Benoit's opponent at Survivor Series, if you ask me.
Nobody actually asked you, Cole, so you kind of should shut up. But anyway, I do have to agree with you this time. He's at the top of the heap for sure, whether Johnny Nitro wants to admit it or not. And this is his chance to silence his critics, including Nitro, right here tonight. I think it was pretty cool of Nitro to team up against Benoit. Nitro is a tag team specialist and a multi-time former tag team champion. And just about the best guy you could ask to watch your back as your partner.
I don't know about that, Taz. There's no disputing Johnny Nitro's tag team credentials, but he seems to have a problem with biting off more than he can chew. He looks like he's recovered, but is he actually at 100% here tonight?
How many times do I have to say it, Cole? That was all just an accident. Nitro's gonna have his back tonight. Just you wait and see there, girl pants.
Benoit certainly got the best of a Survivor Series challenger last week, but can he keep the momentum alive here tonight in tag team action?
That all depends on who he chooses for his partner. Nitro said Benoit could have anyone in the locker room. Who do you think he picked? I can't wait to see.
Oh my God, it's Batista! Batista is Chris Benoit's partner here tonight. Batista's just about the last superstar the #1 contender wanted to see. He cannot be happy about this.
Oh man, not for nothing. I don't think Nitro ever considered that Batista might team up with Benoit.
Or maybe he did. Maybe this is all just another example of Nitro's so-called help.
You gotta give Johnny Nitro credit. He's doing his best to help out his pal, even though it hasn't turned out the way he planned.
Or maybe it is, Taz. Remember, it wasn't too long ago that Nitro was saying that his pal didn't even deserve a title match, and he's done nothing but sabotage him since then.
Sabotage? What have you been watching, Cole? I know you're jealous of a guy who's in great shape like Johnny Nitro, but I'm telling you right now, I think this guy's on the up and up.
I've got to say, for someone who's gone through everything this man has gone through in the past few weeks, he looks to be no worse for wear.
Of course he does, Lady Lips. This is Smackdown. You don't get to challenge for the World Heavyweight title by being some kind of panty waste.
The World Heavyweight Champion has been absolutely dominating here on Smackdown these past few weeks, and he's heading into his title defense at Survivor Series with a huge head of steam. I don't know if he can be stopped.
Yeah, but he's in the ring tonight with two men who are determined to make sure that he's not leaving with the title this Sunday. And like I said, I know you're jealous of Johnny Nitro, but I think he's going to make an impact tonight. I could feel it, I'm telling you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we finally arrived at Survivor Series, and Taz, the Survivor Series match itself is always a highlight. But this next matchup is one I've really been looking forward to. Chris Benoit's World Heavyweight title is on the line right here in the Smackdown main event. And did I mention, this is an ultimate submission match.
Not for nothing. What rock have you been living under for the past few weeks? Anyway, I can't say I like this guy's odds against Benoit without Nitro here to help him out.
We have to admit that most of Nitro's help seemed to backfire on him, partner. If you ask me, I think he's better off without it. Of all the World Heavyweight Champions I've ever seen, I can't think of one who can match Chris Benoit's intensity night in and night out.
Not for nothing, Benoit's an intense dude, Cole. No doubt about it. And this ultimate submission match really favors the champion's style.
We've seen both competitors fall victim to the crippler crossface in the last few weeks. Will we see it happen again tonight? And if so, whom will it be? He did it! He did it! He beat the champion Chris Benoit in his own game. I never would have thought it after what we've witnessed the past few weeks, but we have a new World Heavyweight Champion here at Survivor Series.
And let's give credit where credit is due. Don't forget, the champ's got Johnny Nitro to thank.
If anything, he should probably thank our GM Teddy Long for banning Nitro from ringside tonight. Our new champion proved he was at his best when he left to his own devices. What a night for him. Well, despite the best-laid plans of Johnny Nitro and the number one contender, Chris Benoit has won this match and retained the World Heavyweight Championship in Survivor Series, and I have to admit, I'm not entirely surprised.
For once, I agree with you. Benoit's a great champion, no doubt, but I wonder if maybe all of Nitro's image concerns maybe threw the challenger off his game.
I don't know if I have an answer for that, Taz, but I do know that Smackdown has seen a great match here tonight, and that we certainly haven't seen the last of the man who ended up on the short end of the stick. He'll be back, but hopefully he will have his mind in the match next time where it belongs. Welcome to Friday Night Smackdown. Michael Cole here with Taz at ringside, and partner, I cannot wait for this champion versus champion match to begin.
And here comes Rey Mysterio. I can't remember the last time we've seen something like this. The World Heavyweight Champion and the Cruiserweight Champion going head-to-head. The two champions meeting mano a mano. This one's going to be off the chisane.
Taz, I think a lot of people might think that the World Heavyweight Champion is going to have an easy time of it tonight, but I'm not so sure that's the case.
Me neither, Cole. He might have a power advantage over Mysterio, but that don't do you much good if you can't grab a hold of him. And Mysterio is so damn fast that that's easier said than done. You can bet that Rey is going to look to use his speed and quickness to do just that.
We know that music. It can only mean one thing. Here comes The Undertaker, and Taz. He's coming out here with purpose tonight, and he can't be pleased about the champion's decision to overlook him and face Chris Benoit at Armageddon.
That's for sure. And if there's one thing you don't want to give the dead man, it's an excuse to be mad at you. Still, would you want to face an unstoppable monster like The Undertaker at a pay-per-view called Armageddon? I mean, that's like the end of the world, right?
Taken literally, I suppose it is, but don't worry, I believe the world came out just fine after the last one, partner. Here comes Chris Benoit, and he can't be happy about the champion's refusal to grant him a title challenge at Armageddon, Taz.
When was the last time you ever saw Chris Benoit happy? If there's one thing you don't want to give the rabid Wolverine, it's an excuse to be mad at you.
He did it. He defended his title against Chris Benoit. He's going to leave Armageddon as the World Heavyweight Champion.
That was a great match, but I'm telling you, he may be going from the frying pan into the fire. He survived Benoit here, but let me remind you that The Undertaker still has some unfinished business with the champion.
That's for sure, Taz. You have to wonder how Rey Mysterio fits into all this, but regardless, what a great victory for the champion this has been. Chris Benoit has done it. He's reclaimed the World Heavyweight Championship here tonight at Armageddon. It's been a long time coming for him, and there is plenty of reason for him and his fans to celebrate this victory.
This was an awesome win for him. As great as Benoit is, he had given it everything he had to beat the champ here tonight. And I think Benoit was the champ's handpicked opponent.
Very true, Taz. I think that if they fought 100 times, they might each win 50. But Chris Benoit was the better man tonight. He did it. He defended his title against The Undertaker, and he's going to leave Armageddon as the World Heavyweight Champion.
That was a great match, but I'm telling you, he may have went from the frying pan into the fire. Yeah, he survived the dead man right here and right now, but let me remind you that Chris Benoit still has some unfinished business with the champion.
That's for sure, Taz, and you have to wonder how Rey Mysterio fits into all this. But regardless, what a great victory for the champion this has been. The Undertaker has done it. He's won the World Heavyweight Championship here tonight in Armageddon. It's been a long time coming for him, and there is plenty of reason for him and his fans to celebrate this victory.
This was an awesome win for him, Cole. As awesome as Taker is, he had to give it everything he had to beat the champion tonight. And to think the dead man was the champ's hand-picked opponent.
Very true, Taz. I think that if they fought 100 times, they might each win 50. But The Undertaker was the better man tonight.
I would have thought that Mysterio would have taken the hint before now. Teddy Long doesn't want a cruiserweight competing for the World Heavyweight title.
I don't think it's that simple, Taz. I think Teddy Long completely respects and values Rey Mysterio as much as anyone else on the Smackdown roster. The problem is his hands seem to be tied due to the rules and regulations of the board of directors, whether he likes it or not. How do you think the champion feels about Mysterio not getting an opportunity to compete for the World Heavyweight title in this matchup, Taz?
Well, it seems like him and Mysterio are kind of tight, so I bet he's sort of relieved. In this business, nothing comes between friends quicker than a title. Plus, let's face it, his championship is not on the line.
But remember, that was Teddy Long's decision, not his. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the exclusive SmackDown main event. It's for the World Heavyweight title.
I've got to tell you, Mysterio shocked the hell out of me last week when he laid out Benoit, Undertaker, and the World Heavyweight Champion. But look at the results. He's gotten himself added to the match, making a three-way dance into a fatal four-way.
Whether one approves of his methods or not, there's no doubt that last week he sent a message loud and clear. I just hope Mysterio is able to deal with all the attention he's going to get here for his trouble.
Well, whatever happens now, Ray proved one thing for sure. Nobody's going to give you anything in this business. If there's something you want bad enough, you got to go out and take it there, lady baby.
And there you have it. The World Heavyweight Champion has successfully defended his title once again, only this time he had to go through 3 top challengers on SmackDown to do it.
That was a hell of a match. Whenever you can beat the likes of Mysterio, Benoit, and Taker in the very same match, you've done something impressive.
And one other thing to note, should a SmackDown superstar win the Royal Rumble tonight, he's got his work cut out for him at WrestleMania, going up against a champion like we've seen here tonight. The champ gave it his best, but the odds were just too great for him to overcome, and now SmackDown's got a new World Heavyweight Champion here at the Royal Rumble.
You go into a match like this with the title, and you're a marked man. You know that Benoit, Taker, and Mysterio considered him to be the biggest threat, and they wasted no time going right after him.
I don't think we've heard of the last of him, though. Despite the result tonight, he'd still have to be considered a top contender in the World Heavyweight title picture.
No doubt about it.
This is Michael Cole, and on behalf of Taz and myself, we welcome you to SmackDown. And here comes the man who hopes to become #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title tonight, the Animal, Batista.
And Batista's no stranger to the World Heavyweight title. Remember, he's the guy who brought it to SmackDown from Raw. And from the looks of him, I'd say he's ready to get it back right here, right now.
Even though this is a non-title match, the champion looks focused and intense, Taz. This was supposed to have been a #1 contender match for Randy Orton tonight, Taz, but his behavior last week caused Teddy Long to name Batista the #1 contender for No Way Out.
Yeah, Orton crossed the line last week, no doubt. But I wonder if the champ had anything to do with this. But maybe, just maybe, he doesn't want to face Orton.
I highly doubt that, Taz. He still has to put the title on the line regardless of his opponent. The only person Orton's got to blame is himself. This match doesn't have anything to do with the World Heavyweight title situation, Taz, but I wouldn't be surprised if Randy Orton made another appearance where he's not welcome.
Normally, I'd say you're just being paranoid, Cole, but after the last few weeks, I got to agree with you. Just keep your eyes on the match, though. If your play-by-play suffers any more than it normally does, I just might have to sit next to good old JR. Barbecue! Well, what do you know? Looks like you were being paranoid after all. Orton didn't show face after all.
Technically speaking, Taz, it's not paranoia if they're really out to get you. And despite his absence here, I think you'd agree that Randy Orton has certainly set his sights on the World Heavyweight Championship. Randy Orton might not be in the World Heavyweight title picture at the moment, Taz, but you'd never know it by looking at some of the matches he's had recently.
That's one of the best ways that you get a title opportunity. If you can prove that you can hang with the champ and maybe get a little heat on him, it's only a matter of time before you're going to be getting a shot at the title. And Orton knows that better than anybody.
I can't help but wonder what Batista's attitude is going into this match, Taz.
Well, obviously, he faces the champ on Sunday for the title, so he's looking to feel him out a little bit here tonight. Orton's the wild card, though. He's not exactly friendly with Batista, but you gotta figure he's done him some favors in harassing the champ.
And here comes the man who puts the World Heavyweight title on the line against the Animal Batista this Sunday at No Way Out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to think about it, but this might be the last time we see him on Smackdown with the World Heavyweight title.
If he's going to keep that title, he's going to need to get to No Way Out in one piece. And that means he's going to have to focus on both his opponents tonight, as tempted as he may be to go right after Randy Orton. It looks like things just got a little easier for Batista in this match, Taz. After that ambush earlier tonight, I can't believe that the champion's going ahead with this title defense.
Me neither, Cole. And we still don't know who hit the champ. Who knows? Maybe Batista does.
Easy, partner. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble saying things like that without being able to back them up. I've got to give the champ credit for going ahead with this match, but he's risking a lot. You have to wonder if it's the best move of his career.
Yeah, but what's the alternative? To forfeit the title a month before WrestleMania? An injury's bad, no doubt, but that's a real career ender right there, I'm telling you, man.
What a match! The champion overcame that backstage assault and went on to defeat the Animal Batista and retain the World Heavyweight title.
That's a lot of fire and a lot of heart right there, Cole. That's the stuff true champions are made of.
And you know what else that means for the champion? Next stop, WrestleMania. New champion! New champion! Batista has won the World Heavyweight Championship here at No Way Out.
You gotta give Batista all the credit in the world, but let's face it, that backstage assault before the match obviously took the fight right out of the champ.
It sure did, Taz. And Batista isn't the kind of guy you want to face when you're not at 100%. Under the circumstances, the champ shouldn't feel any shame at all at losing this match here tonight.
Easy for you to say. He might be hurt physically, but that's nothing compared to the pain of losing championship and a chance to defend it at WrestleMania.
I hate to say it, Taz, but it doesn't seem beyond the realm of possibility that Batista could have been behind the attack on the champion last Sunday at No Way Out.
He had the motive, that's for sure. Getting a chance to win the World Heavyweight title right before WrestleMania could make a superstar, even one like Batista, do some desperate things.
Considering Orton's behavior over the past several weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one who attacked the champ at No Way Out, but I'm not sure what he had to gain from it.
Sometimes bad blood is enough of a motive. Or maybe he was hoping to get a title match at WrestleMania from Batista. Who knows? It seems like Randy Orton has always got a trick or two up his sleeve.
The champion didn't seem to be too pleased to find out that he was being assigned a bodyguard, Taz, although if you could handpick your protection, you'd be hard-pressed to find a safer bet than Lashley.
Not for nothing, Lashley is just the kind of dude you want. Big, tough, ex-military guy, and as mean as hell. But as far as him not wanting a bodyguard, well, I can't blame Stephanie McMahon and Teddy Long for getting him one anyway. They need the champ at 100% for WrestleMania.
I don't know if this is going to bring us any closer to finding out if Orton was the one who attacked the champ at No Way Out, but I think the champ's going to enjoy this nonetheless.
Yeah, even if Orton's innocent, and I have my doubts, the champ still got a few post-match attacks he owes Orton.
As we understand it, Taz, Batista has just been stripped of his World Heavyweight title rematch at WrestleMania. Apparently, Stephanie McMahon based this decision on the ongoing investigation into who attacked the champion at No Way Out. It seems that Batista is the prime suspect.
Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? In any case, I'd hate to be on the other side of the ring for Batista right now. Batista's a scary dude.
Nonetheless, it's going to be the champion here with his bodyguard at ringside to face the enraged Animal Batista. As was announced earlier this afternoon, Randy Orton has been named the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania, and we're going to get a preview of that matchup right here tonight.
And this is going to be a great match, I'm telling you. But I am wondering if Batista is going to make his presence felt here tonight. He ain't exactly thrilled to be left out of the main event of WrestleMania.
Taz, we might have just seen a glimpse of the future. Could the same result happen a week from this Sunday at WrestleMania?
You never know, Cole. Both these superstars got to feel each other out here. And don't forget that Lashley won't be at ringside come WrestleMania. Anyway, look at it, though. It's going to be a rocket buster of a match. I'm telling you right now.
You might even say it's going to be off the chain.
Don't quit your day job there, ma'am.
I've got to admit, Taz, I never would have suspected that Lashley was working with Orton to set up the World Heavyweight Champion.
I guess we should have seen it coming. Having the bodyguard do the dirty work is like an Orton family tradition.
Tell me, Taz, do you think the champ is making a mistake taking on his former bodyguard 3 days before defending his title at WrestleMania?
No, I don't, and here's why. The champ's out there to prove that he's not intimidated by Orton or Lashley. I think it's a bold move, but I think it's the right one, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pinnacle of sports entertainment, the main event at WrestleMania. And here we go. Taz, as Randy Orton makes his way to the ring to compete for the most prestigious prize in our industry, Smackdown's World Heavyweight title.
It just don't get any bigger than this, I'm telling you. And speaking of big, just get a load of Lashley. You gotta like Randy Orton's chances of leaving with the title here tonight when he's got a guy like Lashley in his corner.
He's a huge superstar for sure, partner, and I'm sure he's going to have a huge impact in this title match. But remember, it was the ever-opportunistic Randy Orton who did everything he could to set himself up for this moment over the last couple of months. And you can bet he's not going to stop now. No one can say that the World Heavyweight Champion hasn't given Randy Orton every possible advantage. He's even letting Orton bring his former bodyguard Lashley to the ring as his manager.
The champ knows that if he's going to beat Orton, he's got to beat him decisively, Cole. I'm telling you that right now. If he wins here tonight, there is no way Orton or anyone else can say he's not the real deal.
And winning is on his mind to be sure, but win, lose, or draw, what an unbelievable honor and opportunity it is for this man to defend SmackDown's World Heavyweight title right here at WrestleMania. He did it. He did it. Against all odds, the champion retained the World Heavyweight title.
What a match. Seriously, I'm in shock. Orton brought back up to the ring and everything, and still just got handled by the champ.
He has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is absolutely the greatest superstar in the business today. What an incredible champion. What a WrestleMania. Damn that Randy Orton. He pulled every dirty trick in the book, and now he's been rewarded with a World Heavyweight title victory at WrestleMania. How is that fair? How is that right? How does Chris have a job?
I know you're not happy about it, Cole, but give Orton credit. Lots of guys have, game plans for success. But not only did his work, his took him all the way to the biggest prize in the business on the biggest show of the year.
I just think it's a damn shame that Orton represents SmackDown now, Taz. He's exactly the opposite of everything that SmackDown stands for. I'm looking forward to the day where Orton's crooked ways catch up with him, champion or not. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pinnacle of sports entertainment, the main event at WrestleMania. And here we go, Taz, as Randy Orton makes his way to the ring to compete for the most prestigious prize in our industry, SmackDown's World Heavyweight title.
It just doesn't get any bigger than this, I'm telling you. And speaking of big, just get a load of Batista. You gotta like Randy Orton's chances of leaving with the title tonight when he's got a guy named the Animal in his corner.
He's a huge superstar for sure, partner, and I'm sure he's going to have a huge impact in this title match. But remember, it was the ever-opportunistic Randy Orton who did everything he could to set himself up for this moment over the last couple of months. And you can bet he's not going to stop now. No one can say that the World Heavyweight Champion hasn't given Randy Orton every possible advantage. He's even letting Orton bring Batista to the ring as his manager.
The champ knows that if he's going to beat Orton, he's got to beat him decisively, Cole. I'm telling you that right now. If he wins here tonight, there is no way Orton or anyone else can say he's not the real deal.
And winning is on his mind to be sure, but win, lose, or draw, what an unbelievable honor and opportunity it is for this man to defend SmackDown's World Heavyweight title right here at WrestleMania. He did it! He did it! Against all odds, the champion retained the World Heavyweight title.
What a match. Seriously, I'm in shock. Orton brought back up to the ring and everything, and still just got handled by the champ.
He has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is absolutely the greatest superstar in the business today. What an incredible champion. What a WrestleMania. Damn that Randy Orton. He pulled every dirty trick in the book, and now he's been rewarded with a World Heavyweight title victory at WrestleMania. How is that fair? How is that right? How does Chris have a job?
I know you're not happy about it, Cole, but give Orton credit. Lots of guys have, game plans for success. But not only did his work, his took him all the way to the biggest prize in the business on the biggest show of the year.
I just think it's a damn shame that Orton represents Smackdown now, Taz. He's exactly the opposite of everything that Smackdown stands for. I'm looking forward to the day where Orton's crooked ways catch up with him, champion or not. Welcome to another edition of Friday Night Smackdown. We're just 4 weeks away from WrestleMania. And here comes the number one contender for the Undertaker's World Heavyweight title. And Taz, rumor has it that Melina is more than just his manager.
What are you, some kind of gossip columnist or something there, lizard legs? Who cares what's going on with him? But just between you and me, if there's something there, he's got to be the luckiest guy in this business.
I can't imagine what must be going through the mind of this man right now.
Well, if he's any kind of a competitor, the only thing he's thinking about right now is beating the holy hell out of Mr. Kennedy and sending a message to The Undertaker.
Here comes the big red monster Kane, and we've just gotten word that despite being a Raw superstar, Kane has been added to the World Heavyweight title match at WrestleMania, and it will be a Hell in a Cell match.
Wow! A triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title, and Teddy Long stole one of Raw's superstars to do it. You gotta love it, and you gotta give props to the SmackDown GM. Let me ask you something there, young lady. How do you think our number one contender feels about having to face Taker and Kane this Sunday in a Hell in a Cell?
Taz, I'd imagine that with that beautiful young woman back by his side, he's probably feeling pretty good about just about everything right now. I don't believe it. Here comes Kane, and he's being accompanied by Melina. Could she really be under the control of Kane's brother, The Undertaker?
That's the power of the dead man right there. He knows how to get into people's minds and twist them right around.
If that's the case, you've got to wonder what kind of a psychological effect this will have on Kane's opponent tonight. You talk about a man who was on top of the world only a few short weeks ago, and look at how drastically things have changed since then.
Not for nothing, he lost his girl, he's lost a lot of standing in the SmackDown locker room, and if he doesn't win here tonight, he's going to lose his title match in the main event of the big one, WrestleMania.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the SmackDown main event at WrestleMania, and I've got to tell you, Taz, I never thought I'd see a Raw superstar as part of this matchup.
I can't say I did either, but the big red monster looks fired up tonight. No pun intended.
Although I personally feel that Kane has no business fighting for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania, he's got plenty of reasons to want to beat the hell out of both of his opponents. And what a better place to do it than at Hell in a Cell. And here he comes, the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title. I can't remember the last time a superstar had to fight so hard to make it to WrestleMania.
Me neither. And it looks like he left his tomato backstage. That's probably a smart move. This is not a place for a lady. Present company accepted.
Well, it doesn't happen often, but let's face it, the dead man's schemes failed. He's hoped to drive off his opponent, but all he succeeded in doing was double the number of superstars he would have to defend his title against here at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but you know better than that. Don't ever count out the dead man. I'll bet he's still very much in the heads of his opponent, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him walk out of here tonight with the World Heavyweight title around his waist.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the SmackDown main event at WrestleMania. And here he comes, the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title. I can't remember the last time a superstar had to fight so hard to make it to WrestleMania.
No doubt about it, Cole. No one challenges the dead man and escapes untouched, and he's living proof. He's made it here tonight, and he's ready to go.
The last few weeks have been classic Undertaker. The mind games, the manipulation, the win-at-all-cost mentality, and it's all led up to this moment.
The dead man is the master of having his fights half won by the time he steps into that ring, but you gotta give his opponent credit. Some of the other guys, not for nothing, they would have folded like a cheap accordion weeks ago. Hey, do you have a cheap accordion?
He gave it all he had, but it just wasn't good enough.
It's like I said, Cole, The Undertaker did a number on him before he even got here tonight, and he couldn't get past it.
It's a disappointing end to WrestleMania for him, but it's only a matter of time before a superstar of his caliber rises to the top again. The number one contender for the World Heavyweight title is back from a visit to Raw. And Taz, I couldn't be prouder of the way he and Batista stood up for Smackdown.
No doubt. They brought the fight right to Raw, and even though they're facing each other in a little more than a week for the biggest prize in the business, they had each other's back and showed some great brand unity.
Hopefully at this point we've seen the last of the Raw interference and he can focus on this upcoming World Heavyweight title opportunity in his tune-up match here tonight. I gotta tell you, I'm really starting to get sick of these two, Taz. Why can't they just stay on Raw where they belong?
Hey, for once we agree, Sally. I hope our guys give these two a Smackdown sayonara and send them back to Monday nights with their tails between their scrawny little skinny legs.
Well, this is definitely the kind of match to do it in. A non-disqualification tornado tag team match.
Anything goes here tonight, Cole, and it's not gonna be pretty. Kind of like your last date.
That's interesting. He's not making his entrance with Batista tonight.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
What I mean is that they've been inseparable for the last few weeks, at least in the ring.
Well, I guess that makes sense. He's probably still hot about what Batista did to him last week. I mean, that was some Batista bomb onto that car.
That was an accident by all accounts.
Oh, yeah, right, an accident. Of course. Because what reason would the champion have to do something like that to a guy he's going to be putting his title on the line against at the granddaddy of them all, hello, WrestleMania?
I know you're not 100% convinced that Batista's actions last week were unintentional, Taz, but I think it was an honest mistake.
I'm not necessarily calling Batista a liar. I'm just saying that I understand why someone in his position might do something like that. That's all I'm saying. You know, he had a motive.
Look, I suppose anyone twisted enough could start to speculate about conspiracy theories and motive based on what little circumstantial evidence we have, but this is our champion Batista we're talking about, and...
Keep your shirt on, girl pants. Like I said, I'm not calling anybody a liar. I'm just saying that there's a motive there clear as day if you just take off your blinders there, goofy.
You're the one with the shades, Taz.
Never mind that. Would you just shut up and call the match Dirtbox? Everything's gonna be just fine.
I gotta tell you, I'm really starting to get sick of these two, Taz. Why can't they just stay on Raw where they belong?
Hey, for once we agree, Sally. I hope our guys give these two a Smackdown sayonara and send them back to Monday nights with their tails between their scrawny little skinny legs.
Well, this is definitely the kind of match to do it in. A no disqualification tornado tag team match.
Anything goes here tonight, Cole, and it's not gonna be pretty. Kind of like your last date.
That's interesting. He's not making his entrance with Batista tonight.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
What I mean is that they've been inseparable for the last few weeks, at least in the ring.
Well, that makes sense. Batista's still hot about the fact that he didn't warn him about Edge and Master's little sneak attack last week.
Oh, come on, Taz. You can't seriously believe that Edge is actually telling the truth.
Oh, yeah, right, of course. Because what reason would the challenger have to do something like that to a guy he's going to face for the title at the granddaddy of them all, hello, WrestleMania?
I hope that Batista's not still hung up on whether or not his partner sold him out to Edge and Masters last week.
Let me say it again nice and slow so even you can understand it. He's not his partner. He's the challenger for the title. Doesn't that strike you as maybe, the least bit significant? God, man, it's amazing you're still employed here.
Of course, if the rumors were true, but the fact is Batista's going to need to focus all of his attention on this match if he wants to get to WrestleMania in any shape to compete.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some truth to what Edge said. When you get that close to gold, especially with WrestleMania coming up, you can do some crazy things. And it wouldn't be the first time we've seen some guys turn their back on each other for the World Heavyweight Championship.
This is it, the main event of WrestleMania. Once again, I'm Michael Cole alongside my broadcast partner Taz. And ladies and gentlemen, the World Heavyweight title is on the line right here tonight. In fact, we might be looking at our new World Heavyweight Champion.
He's got his work cut out for him for sure. But Batista is not a pushover. But when it comes right down to it, I'm glad that these two are finally getting it on. It's about time. If you ask me, ring the bell, let's do it.
They've certainly been distracted over the past few weeks by the likes of Chris Masters and Edge, but now those Raw superstars are long gone. It all comes down to SmackDown's finest and what promises to be an epic struggle for the richest prize in our business. And here comes the champion, the Animal Batista. And you know, Taz, for everything this man has gone through over the past few weeks, I don't think I've ever seen him in better condition than he is right now.
Batista's an animal. We've said it time and time again. It's always go time for this guy. It's his sheer size and brutal strength that's brought him to the dance. And it's what I think is going to ensure that he retains the World Heavyweight Gold here tonight.
He's an incredible champion, no doubt about it, but he's facing what is thought by some to be the greatest challenge of his title reign. Regardless of who wins, we're in for one of the biggest matches in WrestleMania history. I can feel it. He's done it. He's done it, Taz. We've got a new World Heavyweight Champion here at WrestleMania.
I can hardly believe it. I have never seen anyone handle Batista like that. Wow!
And give Batista his due. He fought an incredible match. Enough to win on a lot of nights, but it simply wasn't enough to retain the gold tonight.
He just outperformed Batista, and he did it on the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. That's a hell of a start to a title reign, I'm telling you right now.
He did it. Batista retained the World Heavyweight title in one of the most incredible WrestleMania matches I've ever seen.
The champ was in top form tonight. He brought his A-game. That's exactly what you got to do when you make it to the grand stage of them all here at WrestleMania.
I have to give the challenger all the credit in the world, though. He fought an incredible match, enough to win on a lot of nights, but it just wasn't enough. Not tonight.
And I'm sure he'll have other chances. He'll be back in the title picture for sure. But not for nothing, there's only one a year that's as big as WrestleMania.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Smackdown. This is Michael Cole here with my broadcast partner, Tazz at ringside. And Tazz, how'd you like to be in this man's shoes tonight?
I can't believe you'd even ask me that, Cole. If you're willing to be the special referee in a match between Benoit and Taker, you're either stupid or crazy. And here I was thinking Teddy Long actually liked this guy. I don't envy him one bit.
We know that music. Here comes The Undertaker. Under normal circumstances, he'd be considered the most intimidating superstar on SmackDown, but I'd say he's in a particularly foul mood tonight after the controversial match he had with Chris Benoit last week.
Come on, Cole. Have you ever seen The Undertaker in a good mood? Besides, I can understand why Taker is angry. Thanks to the ref, the match didn't solve nothing between the Dead Man and the Rabid Wolverine.
You know, I thought I felt sorry for this man last week when he had to referee one of The Undertaker's matches, but now he's got to compete in one.
Well, that's what happens when you try to play favorites as a special referee.
Frankly, I'm not even sure that he played favorites, Taz. This could all be some sort of misunderstanding, but nevertheless, I guess we all understand now why no one else wanted to referee that match last week. Here comes Chris Benoit, and Taz the Rabid Wolverine looks even more intense and focused than usual for tonight's triple threat match.
Of course he does, Cole. There's a lot at stake here tonight. A lot of pride on the line.
Benoit must avoid losing to one of his opponents tonight in order to continue to No Mercy. And if he wins, he gets to choose the No Mercy match type. You've got to think that a triple threat match like this would favor a superstar like The Undertaker, Taz. It's hard enough to garner a victory over The Undertaker in the best of circumstances.
Maybe, maybe not. I know the other two guys in this match don't see eye to eye. But if they decide to team up against him, it could be bad news for the Dead Man.
Talk about your rotten luck. It was an order from Teddy Long that put this man in the middle of the rivalry between Benoit and The Undertaker, and he's been paying for it ever since.
You see it as a bad thing, Cole, but I see it as a good thing. Let's face it. Even if he loses here tonight, an impressive showing against superstars like Benoit and The Undertaker counts for something. You know what I mean?
He gave it all he had, but it just wasn't enough. After losing here tonight, we now know which one of these superstars won't be going to No Mercy this Sunday.
That may be true, but hey, when you think about it, he should feel lucky he can even walk out of here tonight.
Chris Benoit has a great deal of confidence in his abilities, but I've never gotten the sense that he's got a swelled head, Taz.
Absolutely not. This thing that they had going with The Undertaker, it wasn't about talking trash. It was about getting the respect he deserves for the career he's had.
And tonight at No Mercy could be another one of the many high points in the career of Chris Benoit. This is the Dead Man's chance to prove that he is the dominant superstar here on SmackDown, Taz.
I'm not sure how much Taker's got to prove, Cole. You're talking about one of the most decorated veterans in the business here.
There's no doubt The Undertaker is a legend in his own time, Taz, but we may be seeing the birth of a new legend here tonight at No Mercy. Not to take anything away from him, Taz, but I don't think many people expected him to make it to No Mercy.
I gotta agree with you. Again, nothing against the guy, but he went up against two of the greatest superstars in the history of the business. I gotta say, I'm impressed.
I don't believe it. He did it. He did it.
That was incredible. Benoit and Taker spent all this time feuding over who was the dominant superstar on SmackDown, and it wasn't neither of them. It was the man standing victoriously in the ring right there.
Well, one thing's for sure, he just made the entire SmackDown locker room sit up and take notice, and the Raw locker room as well. This is a superstar who's going places and fast. This is going to go down as a memorable No Mercy, to say the least. Well, that was a great match, but I can't say that I'm entirely surprised by the result.
One guy just got outclassed, Cole. Simple as that. And that's not hardly an insult considering who he was just up against.
You're right about that, and quite frankly, he should be proud that he made it as far as he did. You can't take anything away from him. He gave us a memorable pay-per-view match against a winner we can now rightfully call the most dominant superstar on SmackDown. We're just 1 month away from the Thanksgiving Tradition Survivor Series. Michael Cole here with Tazz at ringside, and here he comes, one of the 3 proud members of Team SmackDown.
Man, Teddy Long could have not made a better pick. Not for nothing. You can bet Raw wishes they'd had this guy on their team.
And speaking of Raw, we're going to get a chance to see how he looks tonight against one of Raw's very own, John Cena.
That's right, Cole. Vince McMahon has put SmackDown and Raw superstars in the ring as a special warm-up to Survivor Series. And I, for one, can't wait to see SmackDown superstars beat the tar out of the Raw guys.
Like him or hate him, you've got to give John Cena credit for being one of the most popular and dynamic superstars in the business today, Taz.
Well, sure, he started out on SmackDown, remember? He beat JBL for the WWE title. Cena's got SmackDown roots, no doubt about it, and that's what makes him great.
I think I speak for a lot of people, Taz, when I say that I'm still a little surprised Batista would let Team Raw superstar Ric Flair backstage tonight.
For once, we agree. Batista is definitely an honorable guy, and he's been a great SmackDown champion. But you'd think that he'd be a little bit more careful about stuff like that, considering how Triple H attacked Booker last week.
It's not like Flair's called the dirtiest player in the game for nothing. I hope he's been brushing up on his submission holds because Flair is known as the master of the figure 4 leg lock.
I'm pretty sure he's read the scouting report. Let me put it this way. If he hasn't, this is going to be a short match, and everyone on SmackDown is going to look like a bunch of idiots. Well, except for me, probably, since I knew about the figure 4.
I know about the figure 4 too, Taz. In fact,
Shut up, dummy!
Tell me honestly, Taz, do you really think Batista could be the traitor?
Do I think he could be? Sure, he could be. I could be. You could be. But I don't think this match is going to get us any answers. Could I be? I don't know. Could he be?
You're probably right, partner, but tempers are flaring on Team SmackDown, and this might be just what they need to let off a little steam. I don't think I've ever witnessed a Survivor Series where the members of a brand's team faced off against each other before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's kind of an unorthodox situation, and I gotta say, I don't think it's gonna help Team SmackDown much at all.
I just hope that he and Batista get past this so that they can focus on their main goal, beating Team Raw in just under 2 weeks from now. To tell you the truth, Taz, I don't think that's a victory to celebrate under the circumstances. I think every SmackDown superstar lost in that one.
I gotta agree, and don't forget, it looks like we're still not any closer to proving if Batista is a traitor or not.
Triple H may be an important superstar over on Raw, Taz, but frankly, just the sight of him turns my stomach. 2 weeks ago, he tried to take out Booker T, one of the 3 members of Team SmackDown.
I know how you feel, believe me. If I didn't have to sit here next to you and call this match, I'd get in that ring and show him what happens when you mess with SmackDown.
You can count me in for that, partner.
Really? Well, go and get him anytime you're ready. I've got your back. Not.
That's a smart move, bringing Booker T out to the ring with him. No one knows what Triple H is capable of more than Booker T.
Yeah, well, not after getting beat up in a parking lot a couple of weeks ago. I just hope Booker can control his anger. If he can't keep his hands off Triple H, SmackDown could get DQ'd here.
In some ways, seeing Batista make his way to the ring feels like watching a man walk down death row, Taz.
Yeah, I like Batista. I think he's a great superstar. But this is what has got to be done for the sake of SmackDown.
I have to admit I'm torn. If his accusers are right, Batista is a traitor to us all. But if they're wrong, an innocent man is being persecuted for a crime he did not commit.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know what's worse right now.
I know that Booker T's been looking forward to this match for a while, Taz.
Yeah, well, he's convinced Batista set him up to be attacked by Triple H a few weeks ago. So I can't exactly blame the guy, you know?
Even if these guys teach Batista a lesson here tonight, what does that mean for Team Smackdown at Survivor Series?
I got no idea. I think right now they're just trying to make sure Batista doesn't make it to Survivor Series because I think he's still technically be a part of the team. And you can't have a traitor in the ranks for something like that.
And here comes Team Smackdown united at last in this cross-brand Survivor Series preview match.
Man, now that we've ratted out the mole Booker T, SmackDown's got a real fighting chance at Survivor Series after all.
Of course we do. We're the greatest brand of sports entertainment in the world, and these three men are going to prove it this Sunday. And there he is, SmackDown's own Benedict Arnold, Booker T.
Walking down the ramp with a guy who supposedly took him out a few weeks ago, I was wondering how Booker T recovered so quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to recover if you're not actually injured, but I don't think his ex-teammates from Team SmackDown are going to go easy on him tonight. Oh my God, they did it! They did it! Team SmackDown has just won the Survivor Series main event!
I don't believe it! Talk about overcoming the odds! I'm so happy! I could kiss you, young lady! You're so pretty.
Easy there, partner. I'm flattered, but don't get too excited.
Hey, I said almost, all right? But man, what a match! And despite the problems this team has had in the past month, what a great victory for SmackDown.
Well, there you have it, Taz. Team Raw has won the main event here at Survivor Series, and after what we've witnessed here over the past month, I can't say I'm surprised.
Well, even though Booker T and them sabotage our team, I'm not going to cry about it.
To hell with them. We know that SmackDown's the better brand, and we don't need to win a damn match to prove it. Oh my God, they did it! They did it! Team SmackDown has just won the Survivor Series main event.
I don't believe it. Talk about overcoming the odds. I'm so happy. I could kiss you, Cole. Not.
Easy there, partner. I'm flattered, but don't get too excited.
Hey, I said almost, all right? But man, what a match. And despite the problems this team has shown in the past month, what a victory for SmackDown.
Well, there you have it, Taz. Team Raw has won the main event here at Survivor Series, and after what we've witnessed here over the past month, I can't say I'm surprised.
Well, even though Booker T and them sabotage our team, I'm not going to cry about it.
To hell with them. We know that SmackDown's the better brand, and we don't need to win a damn match to prove it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday Night SmackDown, and Taz, here comes one of your favorite superstars, Mr. Kennedy.
I can't deny it. I love Mr. Kennedy, especially his ring entrance. Here, listen, Mr.
Well, 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 look who's coming to the ring with Mark Henry, everyone's favorite loudmouth, Mr. Kennedy.
You don't think this has anything to do with Mr. Kennedy's little, altercation with Mark Henry's opponent last week, do you?
I think it's got everything to do with that, Taz. Kennedy's up to something, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what it is. Hey, what's Kennedy doing?
Listen.
Now making his way to the ring, the latest victim of the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. A man who deserves everything he's about to get tonight. A superstar who, as it turns out, isn't much of a star at all. I give you, what's his name? What's his name?
I have no earthly idea what a guy like Mark Henry sees in someone as obnoxious and arrogant as Mr. Kennedy, Taz. Clearly, Kennedy gets some muscle out of this partnership. But what's in it for Mark Henry?
Hey, hold on there, pinch face. Like him or not, you have to agree that Mr. Kennedy's one of the most charismatic and exciting superstars we got on SmackDown. You gotta figure Mark Henry could have learned a little bit from a guy like him.
Thanks, I can only hope.
Kennedy's going for the mic. Shh, listen to this.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a good look at the two men making their way to the ring because this will be the last time you see them in one piece. One of them is obviously too stubborn to quit, and the other one is too stupid to mind his own business. Either way, they're about to get an education from Mr. Kennedy! Kennedy!
Well, we've reached the main event tonight on SmackDown, and here comes a man I suppose you could say we heard from earlier tonight.
Cole, I gotta ask you, what the heck was all that about before? Jillian Hall looked like she was running away from Randy Orton. Orton looking like he was going to blow a gasket. What gives?
I've no earthly idea, Taz. I'd say you saw what I saw.
Yeah, but I was out here working for a living, and you were right there. Didn't you used to be like a journalist or something like that? And all you can say is, I have no earthly idea? I'll tell you what, that's some crackerjack reporting right there. Oh, God.
We've just received word that a match has been made between Bobby Lashley and Randy Orton for later tonight. But right now, it's time to watch the other two contenders involved in the No Way Out Fatal 4-Way in action.
And I'm real interested to see how Matt Hardy does in this match. He could be a real dark horse in the number one contender race. He's got the skills, and he's got the experience, and he knows that he's got an opportunity for the gold.
At the risk of losing some objectivity, I have to admit I'm glad Teddy Long made this next match, Taz. I know he can't officially punish Orton, but it seems obvious that Orton needs to be put in his place.
Yeah, I'm all for due process and innocent until proven guilty and all that good stuff, but let's face it, Orton took out Bobby Lashley because Lashley didn't like the way Orton was treating Jillian.
I don't think any of us did, Taz, and Bobby Lashley had the integrity and guts to do something about it, even if he paid the price. Orton has successfully changed the Fatal 4-Way match at No Way Out into a mixed tag team match, and you've got to think that improves his odds of victory. And if he and Jillian win that match, Orton gets a title opportunity at WrestleMania.
And I'd say you gotta like his chances, especially if his partner, Jillian Hall, finds a way to bring that lead pipe into the ring. I've got to admit, Jillian Hall suckered me in with her innocent victim routine. But I gotta say, I'm actually kind of impressed that she managed to take out Bobby Lashley and Matt Hardy. But I guess that's pretty easy when you're clocking guys on the back of the head with a metal pipe.
I think so, Taz. I can't believe Jillian would stoop to that level. Plus, it's hard to believe that Jillian and Randy were really working together all along. I mean, the way he was treating her and all, it seems that it was just an act.
The thing is, Cole, I don't even know if taking out the competition was her idea or Randy's. All I know is if you're Randy Orton and you've got a looker like Jillian on your side who's willing to do just about anything to get you in the main event of WrestleMania, you gotta go with the flow. You know what I mean? Talk about a no-brainer.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the WWE pay-per-view No Way Out. And here comes the first couple of controversy around here who might have just successfully schemed their way to a WrestleMania main event. Randy Orton and Jillian Hall.
No kidding. You know, I don't remember the last time I've heard so much at stake in a mixed tag match. But remember, this match was originally supposed to be a fatal 4-way, but now we're down to just two of the original 4 competitors.
And thanks to Jillian Hall and her trusty metal pipe, which I noticed she's not allowed to bring to the ring tonight. You know, this man is certainly lucky that his partner intervened when she did, or he would have joined Bobby Lashley and Matt Hardy on the injured list thanks to Jillian Hall.
Yeah, it's also nice to have someone watching your back. Who knows? Maybe this will be the start of something between these two.
He could certainly do a lot worse, that's for sure.
Gee, you think? Thank you, Captain Obvious. God, you turned my stomach.
They did it. They won their mixed tag team match at No Way Out, and this means he's going to WrestleMania to compete for the World Heavyweight title.
Man, Orton and Jillian took every shortcut in the book, but it still wasn't enough to get the job done.
Well, maybe there's some justice in the world. In my opinion, a superstar should have to earn his way to WrestleMania with hard work, integrity, and convincing victories over the best competition in the world, not by underhandedly taking out the competition outside the ring. Call me old-fashioned, but this is all's well that ends well.
Okay, you're old-fashioned, not to mention you're 98 pounds soaking wet with a brick in your pocket. They call you Lady Baby, and you're built like a little kid. Anything else you want me to call you?
You've got to be kidding me. Is there no justice in the world? Randy Orton and Jillian Hall have spent the last month ambushing the superstars, and now he's rewarded with a WrestleMania title match for their efforts?
That's the way it goes. You got to give them credit. They stuck to their plan. They say behind every great man there is a woman, and that woman, well, she certainly has a great behind.
Would you please get serious for a minute, Taz? I can't condone the actions of these two tonight, and as a longtime ECW champion, I know you can't either. Randy Orton's underhanded ascent to WrestleMania over the last month sends the worst possible message to the locker room.
Well, regardless of the message it sends, Randy Orton is going to WrestleMania, and there isn't a superstar backstage who wouldn't want to trade positions with him right now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of WWE Smackdown, along with my broadcast partner, Tazz. I'm Michael Cole, and what a show we've got in store for you tonight. In fact, we're going to kick it off right now with some singles actions featuring this man and Rey Mysterio going one-on-one.
That's right. This matchup is going to put two of the most dynamic superstars on the SmackDown roster against each other, and I, for one, can't wait to see it. Buckle up, because when Rey Mysterio steps into the squared circle, you know you're going to be in for some high-flying action.
Rey Mysterio is a multiple-time tag team champion, Tazz. You've got to think that improves his team's chances for victory here tonight in this #1 contender match.
Absolutely. Anytime you got a guy there who's won gold, you got to consider him a major threat. And Eminem might laugh at Mysterio in public, but if they want to hang out those titles, then they better take him seriously when they get in the ring with him for this matchup.
Tazz, what's the psychological advantage of earning a #1 contender spot by defeating the current champions in a non-title match?
It's huge. If you already beat them once, you know you got their number. But Eminem is not exactly pushovers. Even if they lost their titles here tonight, you can bet that they're going to pick up a few ideas on how to take these guys on at WrestleMania.
You got to be kidding me. The Mexicools have a screenplay that Eminem's trying to sell for them.
What's so weird about it? I'm sure the Mexicools have, got a couple of interesting stories to tell.
I guess so, Tazz. Nonetheless, Psychosis and Super Crazy seem to be more than ready to substitute for Eminem here tonight, since the champions have apparently backed out of this match. Well, it was postponed by a week, but tonight we're finally going to see the #1 contender match against Eminem for a WrestleMania tag team title match.
And look at Mysterio. I have never seen him as pumped up as he is here tonight. Rey's ready to go, and this is going to be one hell of a fight, no doubt.
Tazz, you have to be impressed with how well he and Mysterio have been working together, considering that they just teamed up a few weeks ago.
That's the mark of a true superstar. When a title opportunity comes your way, you step up to the plate and you get with the program real quick, or you wind up at the bottom of the food chain.
You know, Tazz, it doesn't seem to me as if Mercury's back was giving him too much trouble during that match.
What, are you a doctor now? How can you just go and call the guy a liar without any proof? Besides, Eminem said they're going to have the #1 contender match next week. So what's the big deal?
They'd better. Next week is the last week before WrestleMania. If it doesn't happen next week on SmackDown, it's not going to happen. This is Mysterio's last chance to earn #1 contender status for himself and his partner for the tag team titles before WrestleMania.
Yeah, no pressure or nothing, right? But seriously, I spoke to Rey earlier today, and not for nothing, he is ready to rock. He knows what he needs to do to go on to WrestleMania.
Did you read his quotes in the latest WWE.com article, Tazz? I think it's safe to say he's getting a little tired of Eminem weaseling out of their #1 contender matches, and I can't say I blame him.
Take a few deep breaths there, sweet cheeks. I understand his frustration, but he's about to have the match, so I don't know what he's complaining about.
I hope you're right, because there's no time to reschedule it again. They've done it. They're going to WrestleMania to compete for the tag team titles on the biggest stage of them all.
And they already beat the champs once. That gives them a huge head of steam going into WrestleMania this Sunday. I can't wait.
I don't believe it. After all their weaseling and conniving, Eminem just pulled the WrestleMania title match right out from under them.
Come on. You want to go to WrestleMania, you gotta earn it. These guys had their shot, and they didn't deliver. Plain and simple. Better luck next year, I guess.
This is it, Tazz. WrestleMania, the granddaddy of them all, is finally here, and the tag team titles are on the line in this very next match.
Man, look at Rey Mysterio. He is so pumped up, and I'm pumped up too. Everybody's pumped up. It's WrestleMania, baby.
You know, Tazz, I'm sure there were many times when this man thought that his tag team title opportunity was never going to materialize.
No doubt. It was kind of a rocky road getting here, but he's a man on a mission. You gotta give him and Mysterio credit. They never backed down, and it got them all the way to the big dance.
Eminem, the tag team champions, pulled every trick in the book to get out of this match, but to no avail. They spent weeks trying to use their alleged Hollywood connections to weasel their way out of this thing, but nevertheless, their tag team titles are on the line here tonight on the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah, it's a ladder match to boot, and the titles are hanging high above the ring. I know Nitro Mercury like to hang with the stars, but I hope for their sake they're not scared of heights.
They did it! They did it! We've got new tag team champions!
That was a hell of a match. And what a performance by the new champs. They might have just stolen the show right here. Looks like they'll have to cancel their giant Hollywood celebration tonight.
I can't say I feel sorry for M&M, but in any case, there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to go down as one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time, and I can't wait to see the new champions defend their titles.
That's for sure. Smackdown has great new tag team champions.
Well, disappointing as it may be, after everything they've pulled, M&M is leaving WrestleMania with the tag team titles.
I don't think this crowd's any happier than you are, Cole, but what are you going to do about it? They won the match fair and square. Tonight, they were just a better team. It's as simple as that. You get simple.
I know you're right, partner, but it just burns me up to see a couple of guys behave the way M&M does and never get what's coming to them.
Maybe so, but can you imagine the after-party M&M are going to have tonight in Hollywood? I mean, think about who's going to be there. Gwyneth, Jennifer, Tyra, Tazz, Ashley, Lindsley.
Hold on a second. Did you just say Tazz?
Well, you know, Nitz, I like to, hang out with M&M in Hollywood sometimes. It's a pretty cool scene, man. Hang out with all my cats.
You know, Tazz, I can't help but notice that just about the entire Raw locker room is hanging out backstage tonight. I personally don't see why we need them around SmackDown, or for that matter, involved in our match tonight.
Better watch what you say there, I'm telling you. After all, this comes from the very tippy top. With this big legend versus legend exhibition by Mr. McMahon, he's cooked this whole thing up. This was his idea. Those Raw guys are here for the show tonight, and they obviously want to do whatever it takes.
That goes without saying. For lots of the Raw superstars, tonight could be their one and only chance to show us what they're made of. 3 weeks ago, I could hardly believe we were even seeing this man in a SmackDown ring, and tonight, I can't believe who he's teaming up with.
I guess you can call him the master of the unexpected. But seriously, this guy has been around a long time, Cole, and you know as well as I do, he's no stranger to doing exactly what it takes to get what he wants.
This man shocked the world Monday night when he revealed he was working together with his arch rival all along, and if that's not strange enough, he says he did it because he felt he was being disrespected.
I don't know how much more respect he could ask for. I can't think of anyone who was more respected by the fans and the guys in that locker room until he pulled this stunt, of course.
And here comes a man who's got a little payback of his own to dish out. I mean, if they want to talk about being disrespected, they should walk a mile in this legend's shoes.
Yeah, he was a patsy, plain and simple. But come on, what was he expecting? Counting on Roddy Piper to win a match back? That doesn't exactly sound like the brightest career move, if you know what I'm saying.
This man has got some serious grudges to settle in that ring tonight, but I've got to wonder how much he's got left after getting laid out in that vicious assault Monday night on Raw. He was hit by a crutch.
Well, he better have something in the tank, considering who he's in there with. These legends might be a little older, but I'm telling you right now, they are not to be taken lightly, and he knows that.
Wow, now that it's over, I feel like I've been in a time machine watching this one. Despite the twists and turns we've seen, I think that this rivalry can finally be considered as settled.
I'll tell you what, if that doesn't settle it, there's nothing going to settle it. There's no way these guys could survive another match like that, especially at their age.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Smackdown. Michael Cole here with Tazz at ringside, and folks, this is the beginning of the road to WrestleMania.
And one huge stop along that road is the Royal Rumble, only 4 weeks away. 30 superstars in an over-the-top rope battle royal for the chance to face their brand's champion at WrestleMania.
And this man isn't doing badly for himself at all, Tazz, and when he got to the arena tonight, he wasn't even in the Royal Rumble. But now if he wins this match, he enters at number 7.
Yeah, and even if he loses, he's still in it. Sure, it's not easy to win the Royal Rumble coming in first, but it's not like it's never been done before.
I don't know what this man did to get on Teddy Long's bad side, but this is just a heck of a punishment for him.
Yeah, I've heard some rumors, but I don't think you want to go there right now. But you're right. Dropping from number 7 to number 1 in the Rumble isn't something any superstar wants. Not with a title at stake.
Well, look who agreed to show up tonight without his entire legal team. I guess he's going to actually try and earn his place in the Royal Rumble after all.
Jeez, Cole, you're being a little hard on him, huh? I mean, think about it for just 1 second. Teddy Long put him in a tough spot.
You want to talk about fair? He got a Royal Rumble number by random draw just like everybody else in the locker room fair and square. Remember, it was his own complaining that got him in this mess in the first place. I've got a lot of respect for this man, Taz. He didn't have to accept this match and risk his entry number at all. I mean, Teddy Long is right about the slow wheels of justice. There's no way he could have legally lost his Royal Rumble entry before this Sunday.
Yeah, who knows? He could have had the victory overturned if he had won the Royal Rumble, Cole. I saw that report on WWE.com. He's got just as much at stake here as his opponent.
I'll talk about a reversal of fortune, Taz. We've got one superstar that was booted out of the Royal Rumble because of his own bad attitude, but now he's legitimately fought and won his way back in.
And we got another guy who was originally left out due to an oversight, and even fought for a better entry number. But now that the smoke's cleared, he's on the short end of the stick again. God.
He's done it. He's done it. He's outlasted 29 other superstars to win the Royal Rumble in a match for his brand's top title at WrestleMania. And to think, 1 month ago, he wasn't even in the Rumble. Talk about coming a long way.
Yeah, he's come a long way, no doubt about that. Royal Rumble winners are an exclusive club, and being a member means big things for any superstar.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Friday Night Smackdown. We're just a week removed from the Royal Rumble, and Smackdown's already experiencing fallout from the Royal Rumble match.
You got that right. There's a bounty on the head of the new number one contender. I know that WrestleMania is a big deal, actually the biggest, but that's just nuts.
Nevertheless, the Rumble winner is a marked man, a man who has a $100,000 price on his head.
Yeah, and if it was me heading to that ring right now, I know I'd be thinking about collecting the 100 Lodge right here, right now. If I know this guy, and I think I do, the thought has definitely passed through his mind.
If the bounty is weighing heavily on his mind, he's not letting it show one bit.
Never let him see you sweat. That's the name of the game, and he's showing everyone here why he's the number one contender at the main event of WrestleMania.
He's wearing a brave face, but let's not forget we're still a month away from WrestleMania. That's a long time to survive with $100,000 on your head. You got to give these guys credit, Taz. Despite superstars putting bounties on each other's heads, it's nice to see that there's still a code of honor around here from time to time.
Take it down a notch there, sizzle chest. This ain't nothing but safety in numbers, Cole. Come on. They'd both wind up getting jumped if they didn't stick together.
I know it's old news at this point, but I still can't believe these two would sell their souls like this, even for $100,000.
Hey, everybody's got a price, Cole. And let's see, 100 divided by 2, carry the 1, 50 G's apiece. That price ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Well, here we are at No Way Out, and Taz, a title opportunity at WrestleMania is on the line in this very next matchup.
Yeah, this might not be for the title, but in some ways, it's bigger than that. The only thing better than becoming the World Heavyweight Champion is doing it in the main event of WrestleMania.
And whoever wins tonight will get a chance to do just that. You can bet that this man is going to give it everything he's got, and so will his opponent. As has been well documented the last few weeks on SmackDown, this man comes into this match with the opportunity to go to WrestleMania to compete for the World Heavyweight title. But it's that very opportunity he's putting on the line tonight.
Well, I guess that's the price of having someone watch your back. I mean, who knows? With a little help, he may not have even made it here tonight in one piece. Never mind WrestleMania.
He did it. He won the match and retained his number one contender status for the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, and the more important thing is he's going to WrestleMania to meet the champ. It absolutely does not get any bigger than that.
The road to WrestleMania continues and this man remains in the fast lane. Well, Taz, it looks as if the main event for WrestleMania has just changed drastically.
Man, Teddy Long is not going to be happy about that. That's a whole lot of t-shirts he's going to be having to get reprinted.
And I can't imagine what must be going through the mind of the former number one contender right now.
It's a tough break for sure, Cole, but let's face it, only the best of the best get to go on to the big dance, and that's just not him this year.
Well, here we are at No Way Out, and Taz, a title opportunity at WrestleMania is on the line in this very next matchup.
This guy shocked the world when he put up a $100,000 bounty on the head of the number one contender right after the Royal Rumble.
I'd say that he suffered from a classic case of sour grapes once he lost his chance for a title opportunity, and he's been a menace on SmackDown ever since.
Jeez, Cole, sour grapes? You think that he's got $100,000 burning a hole in his pocket? He better be able to buy some fresh grapes or whatever. I guess not.
As we saw this past Friday, this man had to endure a 2-on-1 handicap match against would-be bounty hunters. Taz, you have to wonder just what kind of shape he'll be in tonight after what went down on SmackDown.
It's true. He may not be 100% tonight or even close to it. But do you think he cares? He earned his title shot, and he's got a chance tonight to get a little payback on a superstar.
And the word payback has never been more appropriate. If he wins this match, he not only retains his WrestleMania title opportunity, he walks out of here with $100,000.
You're not going to get more motivation to win a match than that. This is going to be intense.
He did it. He won the match and retained his number one contender status for the World Heavyweight title. Not to mention the fact that he's just collected the very $100,000 bounty his opponent put on his head.
$100,000, wow. That's a nice payday, no doubt. But even more important, he's still going to WrestleMania to meet the champ.
The road to WrestleMania continues, and this man remains in the fast lane. No, I don't believe it. All these weeks of his underhanded tactics have finally paid off. What kind of message does this send about Smackdown?
It says persistence pays off, Cole. He keeps his $100,000 and gets something you can't put a price on. A title match against a World Heavyweight Champion in the main event of WrestleMania.
The former number one contender has got to be beside himself right now. I can't imagine the emotions running through his mind.
Well, you got to be the best of the best by hook or crook to get the Smackdown main event spot. And he just got outplayed, plain and simple.
Taz, can you believe the main event we have here tonight on Smackdown? This might be the biggest main event we've ever had, and for a number of different reasons.
No doubt, Cole. Let's see. It's a title match. It's got one of the all-time greats, Roddy Piper, and it's all about Stephanie McMahon being kidnapped and then joining up with the guy who kidnapped her, who I guess didn't kidnap her after all.
And we've just been informed that at Mr. McMahon's request, this is going to be a first blood match.
You gotta be kidding me. Wow. You know what? I say this a lot, but not for nothing. This match is gonna be one hell of a rocket buster.
Not only is the champion's title on the line here in this first blood match, but a lot of pride is as well.
Absolutely. The McMahons and Piper made him look like an idiot this week on Raw. But still, title or not, the champion is going to be looking to collect on some good old-fashioned payback.
And a first blood match is the ideal place to find it. The match doesn't end until one superstar is wearing the proverbial crimson mask.
It's a mean, nasty, vicious match, and it's right up these guys' alleys. And can you imagine it, Cole? If Piper wins the match, it will be the first time that he has won the title. And it'll happen right here on Smackdown.
I don't believe it. After all these years, Roddy Piper has finally won the most prestigious title in this business.
Hot Rod's a master of picking his spots, Cole. It might have taken him a couple of decades, but he couldn't have picked a better time right here tonight. He busted the champ wide open, and now he's got the gold. It's as simple as that.
The outcome of this match may be simple, but the circumstances around it would still seem to leave a lot to be resolved.
I know what you mean. Think about it. This all started with Mr. McMahon wanting to prove that the WWE legends were just as good as the current WWE superstars. And it looks to me that it's exactly what he did.
Well, we've just received word that SmackDown General Manager Theodore Long has in fact agreed to this match as a way to cross-promote WrestleMania. And this man, Randy Orton, certainly seems up to the challenge.
Orton's not sweating nothing, Cole. This kid has gone toe-to-toe with the biggest legends in this business, and he ain't gonna back down from some clown from Raw. Let's face it. He may be the number one contender on Raw, but this ain't Raw. This is SmackDown. SmackDown won't be intimidated by some Raw contender, and neither will Randy Orton.
As you mentioned, he's the number one contender for Triple H's WWE title, Taz, but he's here to take on Randy Orton at Triple H's urging.
Yeah. How messed up is that? Who takes orders from the guy they're going to be fighting for the title?
How do you think Batista feels about Triple H sending Raw's number one contender fresh off a fight with Randy Orton after him, Taz?
I bet he's about as confused as I am, Cole. I still think you got to be nuts to listen to anything Triple H says, especially if you're about to fight him for the title.
This is the second week he's come over from Raw to challenge one of Triple H's former Evolution teammates. And I can't say I blame him. Triple H has offered him quite an incentive.
Yeah, if he wins here tonight, he gets his choice of a match at WrestleMania. But I still smell a rat, Cole. If you ask me, I think he's making a big mistake invading SmackDown's turf like this.
It looks like this rivalry isn't over, Taz. If anything, even more superstars are being drawn into it.
I'm glad to see it. This thing started on SmackDown, and I hope it ends right here on SmackDown.
I think it's just sickening the way these two have basically undermined their own legacies with their despicable behavior these last couple of weeks.
Well, that's your opinion. Remember, these old school guys made their legacies doing stuff like that. Besides, these guys are getting up there in the years, and they're trying to do, extend their careers. You can't blame them for that, right? Well, maybe you can,